Hello everyone, it is Joe here from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon, and it's time for another Guardians Rising deck analysis. This time it's a returning favourite, Greninja. It is back. I have been testing this for over a week now, and I am certain that this is going to be a top contender in the new standard format. Now, here's the caveat, it does pretty much auto-lose decidueye Vileplume, but almost everything else, I feel like Greninja is decent enough and is almost favoured against like pretty much everything as I start going through the matchups in my head. I really think it's inherently powerful, its numbers improve a bunch, and it's not scared about Garb anymore. And that was always, back in the days, the check to Ninja. So when that's out the window, and when you hit harder anyway, Greninja's a really unstoppable force in my opinion. So let's jump into the deck. You can see it's very different from previous Ninja builds. It's been updated, there's a lot of new cards in here, so I'll discuss all of them with you. So, first of all for the Pokemon, just 15, just Greninja pieces. We're of course using the Bubble Froakie. It can Paralyze, this can save your life when you only have Lone Froakie, and it can save your life just for saving yourself a prize really, if you can Paralyze something on a coin flip on the turn before you use Water Duplicates, which is cool. Additionally, you can do it on turns when your opponent Hex Maniacs you, or develops Garbodor and you don't have Field Blower, and you can try and bubble to protect your higher stage evolution pieces, which can be helpful. Then we have Frogadier. This is of course one of the cornerstones of the Greninja deck, why it has been so successful in the past. Water Duplicates is a fantastic attack, allowing you to search a deck for up to 3 Frogadier and put them onto the bench. So from then on, all of our Greninjas are basically stage 1 Pokemon, and it really does improve the consistency. Obviously, you have to max this guy out. Greninja is awesome. His attacks have always been great. He has 130 HP and free retreat, which are all great traits. Shadow Stitching does 40, and during your opponent's next turn, they can't use any abilities. This is fantastic against the likes of the new Aquabox deck that relies on Manaphy to move between its attackers. Very fantastic against Volcanion. Not only are we hitting for weakness, but they can't steam up. And once we break Evolve, that means they can't one-shot our Greninjas, which is amazing. Great against Mega Gardevoir as well, because they can't do their like Hooper Shaman shenanigans. Dragonite to pull things up, all of that all gets shut off. Of course, from Mirror, you need to turn it off, but in my list, I don't have anything for Mirror. It's really down to see how many people start playing Greninja to see when I need to start putting in these techs again. But for now, I'm playing a very straightforward list. This is also pretty helpful against decidueye. I think it's the only win condition at times. It is, I said at the start of the video, it's an auto loss, so I still stand by that. But the only inkling of survivability involves Shadow Stitching, where you stop them using their decidueyes to ping, and you Lysandre stall something, and hope that your break abilities can access their bench instead. Very, very small win percentage, like very low against decidueye. But that is sometimes the key. Of course, it turns off their item lock as well, so they can find things like Floatstone, so your stall becomes worse. But sometimes they've already played their floats, and they've already GX attacked and all that other stuff. And that's like the 1% chance that Greninja has. From there we have Moonlight Slash, which is even better now because we have Choice Band. It does 60 base, and if you return the water to hand, it does an additional 20. And that means we're doing 110 with a Choice Band on top. 110, as you all know, is a great number. It means we can now Lysandre KO Shamans. Even on turns we've been hit with Hex Maniac, we can still take 2 prizes because we can deal with Shaman. So Greninja just gets even more powerful. Also, that 110 is fantastic against 170 HP EX Pokemon because we can simply use one Giant Water Shuriken from the break, finish them off with Moonlight Slash, which is great. And it means that we can now do 230 damage turns when we have 2 breaks in play. We can use one Shuriken, retreat, use another Shuriken, attach energy, attach Choice Band, Moonlight Slash returning to the hand. 230 is huge. That's one hit KOing Mega Evolutions. Any GX that isn't a stage 2 GX is also going to get knocked out. So very, very powerful. You can just really swing games once you start finding your break evolutions, and Choice Band just makes it more powerful even when you're just using your attacks, which is phenomenal for Greninja. Finally, we have the Break Evolution. This is still an absurd card. Giant Water Shuriken. Once during your turn, you can discard a water from hand when he's in the active, and you can place 6 counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon anywhere on the board. It's pretty nutty. You can, as I just mentioned, retreat into other breaks to do a potentially 120 in a turn, which is nuts. He has 170 HP as well for for like a single prize Pokemon. That's really hefty to get over, and there are definitely some decks that can't one hit through you, so that is very annoying. Let's have a look at some of the new cards that Greninja gets into the trainers. 2 Rescue Stretcher. It's a small upgrade from Super Odd. Basically, whenever you played Greninja, you only used the Shuffle 3 Pokemon in, so essentially Rescue Stretcher is already acting as Super Rod, but now it has the extra choose option of being able to put a Pokemon from discard straight into hand. Sometimes you really need to do this. It just guarantees that you can get your next break evolution and just do it that turn. It means that you just maintain your board state a lot better. Oftentimes you will be using the 3 Pokemon effect of Greninja, but having the option to just make sure you get an extra one in hand on that very turn is going to be a huge step up for you. It just maintains the board so nicely, and that's all Greninja cares about. Once it has these Greninjas in play, it starts taking control of the game, and Rescue Stretcher helps you do that. It's such a good card that I've considered putting 3 in here. It's really important and really horrible if you have to discard these. Very painful, even though we have 3 Splash Energy. This is still a hugely impactful card. I love getting the choose 1 from the discard pile. Really, really strong, but yeah, for now it's at a 2 count. Also at a 2 count is the new Field Blower card, which is one of the main reasons Greninja has been tipped off to be returning. I do believe it's one of the best decks in format now. You get to choose up to 2 in any combination of Tool and Stadium cards in play and discard them. This is going to help out, of course, against the ability locking Garbotoxin Garbodor. You can get rid of their float stones, then you can simply shuriken it down to KO it, or you can just KO their main attacker and leave them with only Garbodor in play, for example. With 2 in the deck, we can do it, twice, and really Greninja only needs big swing turns. It needs like 1 or 2 turns of abilities to overpower the opponent, so Garbodor is no longer a problem, which is great. We also gust off Fighting Fury Belts, which is really cool. Fury Belt is naturally being played less anyway because people are moving to Choice Band, but if ever there are Fury Belts, we can get rid of them. And also it means that Greninja doesn't need to play a Stadium anymore, so we gain a few deck slots, which is also fantastic for the consistency of this deck, because everyone who knows Greninja knows that it can have these awkward opening turns and simply lose because a Froakie gets donked. Field Blower saves you slots because now we can test the Stadium War via this card, which is a card you would already have to play, because you need to be able to get rid of Garbodor. So now we don't play a Stadium at all in Greninja, because I think this serves the purpose. It means we can get rid of things like Parallel City, which would be awkward, and that's pretty much the main one that we are scared of. But you can just stop the opponent having use of their Stadium, because oftentimes it will be beneficial for them. So this card is awesome. We don't really care about other people's choice bands, of course, but we can get rid of Float Stones, I guess, for stall tactics, because we do double up on Lysandres now. So yeah, double Field Blower is really cool. Double Trainer's Mail. Previously, Greninja never really had the spaces to play Mail in the list. So I'm very happy to see these cards in here. It means that we have that slightly added consistency to the deck, and for everyone who's played against Greninja, once it does get going, it's a formidable deck to play against, and Trainer's Mail sometimes helps you get there that bit more, so I'm happy to see it. Next up, we have 10 Ball Search cards in here. 10 is an absurd amount of balls. On turn 1, we have access to 13 ways to get a Froakie. That's the 3 physical Froakie you didn't start with, on top of the Ball Search cards, on top of supporters, and on top of Trainer's Mails. Somehow you still lose because you can't access a Froakie turn 1. Don't ask me how. It's statistically very rare, but it can happen. But we have 10 Ball Search outs at least to find Froakies, and Level Ball is also going to access Frogadier for the turn 2 duplicates, which is pretty much what the deck completely relies on. It wins and loses based on whether or not it hits duplicates. So having as many Ball Search cards as possible is important. 3 Ultra Ball gets us any card, of course. It's kind of painful that we have to make discards to do so, but I feel like it's fine. Greninja is just so, it's just, it needs to have these cards. You can try flirting with Evo Soda and Timer Ball. I've tried 1 or 2 ofs instead of the 3rd Ultra Ball. It can be nice. Obviously, it's painful to discard sometimes with Ultra Ball. but overall I feel like it's just too necessary. It's too important to not lose in the opening turns, so I'm still a fan of Ultra. But yeah, if you want to not discard cards, you could just play Evo Soda. I would still keep at least 2 Ultra, so that you don't just lose to Froakie dying turn 1. But yeah, Ultra Ball, I'm happiest with it, but you can choose Evo Soda instead, which gets every other card without discards, but that's up to you really. And for Dive Ball, obviously the best option, because it can get every card in the deck for free, so very, very good. For VS Seeker, very standard. Our one-ofs, Fisherman is of course important, so that we can have the big swing turns where we can go Shuriken, Shuriken, attack. That's obviously huge. It's one of the main reasons why I feel this has a good Sylveon matchup, which is important in the new format, because Energy Denial is not really an option, because we're already putting it to the hand, so they start going for Skull Grunts, and then you just Fisherman it all back. So the opponent can't really deny Greninja too often with Sylveon. The way Sylveon can still win, however, is if they simply delinquent you to 0, and you're in Super Sad Face mode, and you can't play any cards because you're dead drawing for a few turns. But overall, I've found myself quite positive against Sylveon, which is a big plus for the deck. We're also playing 1 Ace Trainer. It's like the 5th N in here. Really good for disrupting the opponent, even in the early turns if they've only taken 1 prize. It's like an N on steroids for us because they go straight down to 3. And we're always drawing 6 as well. So when it's the mid game, this is much more aggressive than N. If we've started to fight back, if we started to take 2 prizes, N is kind of painful on our end because we need to still find more Greninja pieces. We need to still find energy. So Ace Trainer is the go-to option there. The reason I don't play more is because I'm so concerned about the turn 1 and 2 that we need to just max out on N instead. If you're feeling cheeky, you could go to 2 and 3N. That's up to you. It's a judgment call. I'm just super paranoid about losing in the first 2 turns with the deck. 2 Lysandre is something that hasn't been seen in Greninja for a long time. I don't think ever. I believe there was like 1 or 2 lists when they played Beedrill. They tried to like Beedrill stall with Lysandres, but that was only very few players. I'm really loving double Lysandre in the deck again. It's a great stall option in the early turns, of course, but now that we have Choice Band, we can just finish off games by dealing with Shaymins, even if they Hex us. So if they play Hex, it means they haven't played N, which means we can Lysandre and win the game. So very, very good. It's also our tiny 0.5% win condition against decidueye for stalling things. So yeah, bear that in mind, I guess. For N, for Sycamore, want to be as consistent as possible. The deck trips over itself numerous times in every single game, so we want to have the supporters to try and make that as unlikely as possible. So yeah, 3 Choice Band. I've mentioned already how much this math is improved, and yes, it's amazing. This card is so good for Greninja. Its numbers become filthy, so very, very good. I'm playing a generous 10 count of energy. 3 splash so that we can recover our Greninja pieces in the early turns. They go straight back to the hand, of course, so we can just plonk them back down on our other targets and carry on. So once we start to build the board, we don't really lose it. And 7 water is a high count compared to old Greninja lists. Basically, I want to be as simple as possible, so that we have high chances of drawing into them, so that we have Shurikens. So yeah, very, very baseline, simple deck. And I feel it's just so much stronger now. You gain a lot of slots, and yeah, it's really good. Let's have a look at a few alternatives. Talonflame was what I originally thought I needed in the deck. I thought I needed this to beat Sylveon, and I thought I needed this to have a chance against Decidueye. Turns out you still lose to Decidueye, so I feel like I just cut Talonflame. I don't like the card. You guarantee yourself 3 dead cards in the deck, and sometimes it's 4 dead cards. I don't like it. Even with free Ultra Ball, I am a fan of the pure Froakie build so much more. But if you're the fan of Talonflame, you can go for it. It's absolutely fine as well. I'm personally just not a fan of it. It does get slightly better because Choice Band means that you're doing 1 for 70 on like turn 1, which is gross. So potentially it gets a little bit better as well. Jirachi is the other card that found its way into Greninja. I'm not playing it much anymore. It was mainly in here to stabilize things like Rayquaza, but because we have Choice Band now, we hit Ray so much harder. I feel like we can combat it without Stardust, which is pretty cool. And also, this is a card that isn't Froakie, And if we lead it, it means that we need to find 2 energy in the opening 2 turns to get Froakie into the active so that we can duplicates. It doesn't sound like a big ask, but Greninja trips over itself too often for me to want to play the card, so that's why I'm not. Flare Grunt is what I originally put in this deck to try and defend myself against Decidueye, trying to simply crush away their energies so that I have time to build up my board of frogs, to eventually get the break evolutions up, to eventually snipe the Vileplume so I can, again, eventually VS Eco back Flare Grunts and hope to starve them of attacks for the majority of the game. That was all great in theory, but the fact is they still item lock you and you never get set up. So no point trying to attack against Decidueye in my eyes. I think the only way you can is if you play Talonflame and Flare Grunt, then it's a viable option, at least in theory, but I still think it's pretty horrible for you, so I would not go down the route of Flare Grunt. Similarly, I think Enhanced Hammer used to be a card that was in the deck. I think Greninja hits harder now, so we don't need to slow people down as much, because once we start gaining tempo back on our side, it just really swings hard. So I don't feel that we need Enhanced Hammer. For similar reasons, I won't be playing Max Potion. If Greninja becomes more popular, which as more people test, I believe it will, I think this card might need to get back into the deck. At the moment I've cut it because I think if ever there's a deck that can't one-hit KO your Greninjas, you've already won the game. I think you just win the prize race too quickly now. If it's a Max Potion, I think I'd play like a 2 count at most. Obviously it's a card that isn't going to help you get set up. It feels like a win more card, but if it is the mirror, you do need it. So either you can play Ranger, you can play Max Potions. There's a few other things you can do to win the mirror. I think Max Potion is the most versatile one out of those two, between Max Potion and Ranger. So I'd probably be greedy and try and play this. Man, I've got a really bad throat. So yeah, Max Potion, if you want to start thinking about the mirror, you can play that. Overall, I think it's a win more card too often. I've mentioned other means of searching, Evo Soda and Timer Ball. Timer Ball if you're feeling Lucky Punk, and Evo Soda if you think the discards are too painful from Ultra Ball. And the debate around no Stadium. Rough Seas, I've already said, Decidueye already beats you. Forget it, it's done, okay? Put that to one side. If you're playing Greninja, you accept the loss. It's like you're playing Gyarados, basically. Don't play Rough Seas, it does not balance the matchup. And Brooklet Hill is a worse version of Level Ball, so don't play that card either. You have Field Blower to contest the stadiums. That's all you need in life. So that is going to be my list. I am a huge fan of it. It is a very simplified, very pure list of Greninja, and it still draws bad sometimes, but hopefully, as we jump into the ladder, it does it not a lot. Okay. Sorry for all the drinking and slurping and coughing and stuff. I've just tried to record this, and the file corrupted, so I'm already out of breath because I've been talking for already an hour. Because I played 4 games on my last recording. But that's just because I love Greninja so much now. Honestly, if I was going to a tournament tomorrow, Greninja would be the deck that I would play. So that's a statement, I think. We have started double Froakie, and we have Frogadier in hand with a water energy. This is what they call the dream in Frogland. So let's see what we're up against. We are up against Lapras. Now, if it's quad Lapras, this could be fairly tricky. No, if it's quad Lapras, it's easier, actually, than normal. And they're playing Steven, so this is probably quad Lapras. And they can't really do much to us, so that's good news. They chose to take N from the Steven. And because of that, I'll probably attach to the active here. Actually, no, because they'll just hammer. We still just pass. Yeah, we still just pass. Maybe now he won't play N. Oh, they still do. Don't even care. I guess this is still an ideal turn 1 for Greninja, so they can't really scout at all. Doing nothing is the same as like playing 10 cards for a Greninja turn there. Okay. We still guarantee the duplicates, which is fantastic. And we have all 4 in here, which is also phenomenal. I do feel like Greninja is fairly invulnerable to these sorts of energy denial, disruption type decks, whatever you want to call them, because of course we're always 1 energy attacks, we have Fisherman, we return to the hand naturally. Of course Skullgrunt can access our hand, but I think just we have too much fuel to for them to deny really a lot of the time, so I feel pretty confident here. The opponent's going to start firing away some crushing hammers. They've put down double Fury Belt very early on. Oh man, them having to use Flare Grunt is super sad here. We have a really good hand. We want to blower these straight away. Wow, we have a triple Greninja turn. This is gross. This is gross. This is why we play so many Ball Search cards. So we can start popping off just like this. Now, of course, Sylveon can GX your Greninjas back into the hand, so you have to be a bit more careful against that deck. But I feel against Quad Lapras we should be pretty safe, even with Rough Seas sort of denying some of our damage. Because we can have turns of 230 damage, it doesn't matter too much. Missing Energy is a bit of a shame here, but they've only had 1 energy drop as well, so it's not too bad. Ultra Balling only ever hurts us because we get into delinquent range, so we pass here. The opponent goes for Skylar for Hex, which is optimistic. We'll start with an Ultra Ball. Actually, I might start with a Level Ball to discard an extra Froakie here. Yes, that sounds better. We will grow ourselves a break. We're likely to be hit with a Ice Beam as soon as we break evolve, but that's kind of okay. I'd rather do it to the... I'm going to attach everything to the bench here, because we can free retreat anyway, and if we happen to get the nuts, that would be great. Yeah, we do get an N. Nice. If we get a break and 3 energy off this N, it makes sense to attach it all here, and there's no reason to not do it, so... Okay. Get a good amount of energy here. We can do 170 this turn, which is nice. Let's think about how many cards I have left in the hand after I do this. 1 energy obviously comes back to us. Do I want to play around Delinquent? Delinquent's terrible for him if I just keep the Fisherman. So I think this is fine. Okay. This Lapras is very, very damaged. They've not really done any sort of disruption just yet. We end them out of Hex, so maybe we get lucky. Even if they Ice Beam, Shuriken can still work, even if we... Oh, okay. They had Hex, and they Ice Beam. Okay. Forget everything. They've actually bought themselves a turn. Greninja plays no means of switching, because everything has a free retreat cost or lower. To play around N, I could attach an energy here. They've got rid of 2 crushings. They have a 4-card hand. I think it's fine. I'm not going to Fisherman for 1 card. That doesn't seem value to me. So we will just pass. Will we see the opponent retreat into Wob here? It's fairly likely. They attach to the bench Lapras. They have 2 Hex Maniac in their list, so they're just going to go for Blizzard Burn instead. Not bad. Because of the Hex, I'm going to be stretchering for the full 3 targets here, rather than just getting the break, which means we will Trainer's Mail first. We'll take the VS Seeker, I think. let's get some Pokemon back into the deck. 1, 2, 3. Don't need to end right now. Although it does only ever get weaker for us. We could do it. Okay, let's cycle this hand, I guess. We can grab a break if I want to. I think I do. Is stitching ever the play? Don't think so. Oh boy. We could potentially have a 230 damage turn here if we don't get hit with Hex. Or N. Okay, puzzle probably means we're going to get hexed. Whoa, that's a really weird double puzzle. Means they probably have Viesica in hand at least. Oh, Lysandre. Well, that stops the 230 damage turn, I guess, so that's kind of smart. I'm going to pay retreat on the splash energy here, because it's our least valuable energy in this matchup. I don't think we ever drop a prize anymore, now that the Ice Beam's been done. We have to get the second breakout to threaten it all day. I will Shuriken once. I think I want to do it here. Oh, I retreated into the wrong guy. That's okay. Field Blower before they've put any stadiums in sounds pretty dumb to me. We'll just hold. I'm not even worried about this being active, to be honest. He never wins a prize race. The Field Blower, even potentially Field Blower is better because it protects this guy, but I'm not too concerned about it still. Wow, we got the Fisherman and the break. That was pretty lucky of me. Well, Never Punished comes to mind for a couple of blatant errors. 230 is the exact amount we can deal, which is hilarious and just sad. We don't actually have the choice band, so we can't one-hit this. I could Shuriken here for the choice band, but I don't think it's worth it. Getting the one Shuriken means we can always just attack it now. So getting the second Shuriken in means that we are in delinquent range. So I think we don't. I think I prefer to just not. I've made some weird decisions this game. I'm trying to like make weird decisions to like make up for my other weird decisions earlier on. Weird. Skullgrunt is really good here for the opponent. Gonna see the retreat into the other Lapras. Silly Lapras, don't you know that nowhere's safe against Greninja? Oh, we're top decking like a king as well. Let's Moonlight Slash. Still going to hold the blower because I haven't seen a single stadium yet. And I need to get rid of that as soon as it comes down. Okay, there we go. Attachment to the bench. There are 120. Handiwork. Oh, there's so many good targets in my deck. Oh, okay, thank goodness. Those were some of the worst targets they could have taken. I've still got a lot of VS Seekers in there. Okay. Field Blower is always happening. We hit 110 this turn. Keep Lysandre for game, I guess. How many Fury Belt have they been through? Been through 3 and 2 puzzle. They could still have 2 puzzles remaining to get the Fury Belt to KO us. This is a really bad card to get off of N. So I guess we just take this one out now. The only reason to not is that he could have Rough Seas and heal out of range. Okay, so we don't. Do I play N though to try and get VS Seekers? Protect them from Handiwork. Handiwork's a really bad turn for him. I don't think he can afford to Handiwork, so we'll just go down to 2 prizes. Splash Energy is not a bad draw, unless he Skull Grunts, of course. Skull Grunt is likely his play here, because they of course know I have energy in hand. Oh, he retreated into Lapras, that's weird. Even with Rough Seas, that's a weird choice. Yeah, Seeker Skull Grunt. Skylar cannot win you this game. Pretty certain Skylar seals his fate if he plays it. Wow. How can Skylar be their play there? Even if it is for puzzles. What can you get off puzzles that saves you the game? Fury Belt? Fury Belt and water. So you're at 150. A Shuriken once. 10 off, which is a shame. We can't dig for Choice Band. Is N ever the play? No. Lapras so tanky. A Ranger here would be pretty scary. Oh, they just have an N. Okay, I guess they're gonna like N retreat, maybe. Retreat to Wob. Just pass. Oh dear. Well played. Well, I played like as badly as I could there. Maybe I was too confident about that matchup, but I mean, it was still in our control. Okay, first win against Quad Lapras. That seemed like an old list of Quad Lapras. I didn't see any Aqua Patches in there. I didn't see any Field Blower, I don't think. There was nothing really he needed to Field Blower all game though, to be fair. Interesting. I guess the new age of Quad Lapras is just called Sylveon anyway, so. Next up we are up against Exion, and we're going to flip the coin. We lose it. And we have Froakie level ball energy, so please don't end us. Sizzle, huh? Now, how does Sizzle beat us? I again think we're pretty favoured in this matchup. They have Trainer's Mail for Nest Ball, which is an interesting card to see in Sizzle. Normally they rely on Hooper. So seeing Nest Ball is a surprise. Oh, okay. It's more like a Solgaleo. Solgaleo we can Shadow Stitch eventually, so that is going to be a huge part of our win condition here. Solgaleo can of course one-hit KO through our dudes, where Sizzle can't. But I still feel fairly okay in this matchup. It's a lot of HP to get through, but it's a lot of commitment as well to do Solgaleo's attacks a lot of the time. Okay, we will just level ball. Grab Froakie. We have 4 Frogadier in here. On the off chance he's a Mega, do I not attach the Splash here? He's almost definitely not got the space for Solgaleo and Mega. Going for Bubble forces him to have Candy and Solgaleo. Gale Thrust can't actually one-hit us, though, so maybe I pass. I guess Gale Thrust into Gale Thrust KOs a Frogadier. Okay, let's go for Bubble. Got the heads, so this forces Candy Solgaleo. If he has that, he probably just goes for the GX attack, right? They're going to start with Trainer's Mail. They do have a large hand size, so this isn't too unlikely. You can also now Lele for things like Skylar for your final piece of the puzzle, so it is more consistent to play Stage 2 decks these days, just saying. But we'll see by how much. They just have to Sycamore here. Or they had one of the pieces. They had the Solgaleo, but no Candy. Looks like they're going to settle for Cosmo M. They have a Lugia EX, which is also not great against this deck. Three energy in their discard pile already as well. And they play Stretchers rather than Rod. Interesting, interesting. Choose to attach to the bench, Sizzle. Here's another Nest Ball. What do they get this time? A Delmise. Delmise puts them to 120. Okay, that's still fine. Still fine for us. We're not concerned. We will dive ball and just get the team going here. You never want to end once you've got Frogadier, by the way, because you never want to like shuffle or Sycamore because you could draw into Frogadier pieces. Even if you have a second Froakie developed, because the second Froakie is pretty much exclusively for the Splash Energy dude, because then you can just drop back down the Frogadier and the Froakie. So just it's a small thing to bear in mind that you never want to risk the fact that you could draw into these on the turn. So really, as soon as you hit duplicates, that's like basically your turn end. So okay, 3 Choice Band are in here, 1 Lysander's in here, both Stretchers, 1 Greninja is prized. That's okay. We can live with this. The higher the stages of the Greninja line, the better they are to be prized. Apart from 1 Froakie. Prizing 1 Froakie is fine. As long as you can access it early. Or access another one early, I guess. Trying to think if this math ever helps him. If he plays Sizzle, the Mega, it helps him. But otherwise the math is inconsequential. Beginner. That math would have changed. Otherwise puts that to 130. There's an attachment to the bench, Sizzle. And just a Steel Wing. Wow, so slow against us. This is amazing for us. Typically, we expect to be down prizes by now, but that's not yet been the case. We can Ultra Ball away a Water and an N here. Grab ourselves Greninja number 1. And we'll be hoping to find another Ball Search card here. Maybe a Dive Ball. Level Ball is a card we can thin. Unless I want to Lysandre anything else. We can do 80 this turn. So it's not great on Cosmo M. We probably will need to get through it eventually though. But I think trying to develop more Greninja is better than Lysandring here. We will thin a Level Ball. Thin a Froakie. I'm happy to put it down. Because that's 6 prizes on the board for our opponent to get through. Good luck. There is a splash and we can do a clean N here. Greninja running very smoothly for us. We do not hit any more Greninjas, which is a bit of a shame. But we do hit our first choice band. And we can... Ooh, is Shadow Stitch my best option here? Yeah, Shadow Stitch is definitely my best option. Because otherwise he can do Solgaleo, do his... what's it called? Ultra Road thing. Go into this one and one hit me. This way he has to attach an energy to retreat. Or find another float stone. So stitching is way better here. Way more annoying for him. Of course only doing 50 because of his Steel Wing. So is he going to pay retreat here? Paying retreat will put a 5 energy in the discard, which is a lot for Solgaleo. When it plays Stretcher instead of Super Rod, that could be really good for us. There's the Solgaleo. And just an N. Probably digging for Floatstone at this point. If he can't get it, that would be awesome sauce. Oh, he's just going to pay a retreat. Okay. So unfortunately, us not getting any other Greninjas is a bit of a pain here. But Gale Frost is capped at 120. Only doing 110 because we Shadow Stitched, of course. We'll go into our other Splash Energy dude. This is where the gang all come back down from our hand. Gonna put this on the active so we can get the full damage from Moonlight Slash without sacrificing the Splash Energy. I'm just gonna end because I do want to develop these Frogadiers down here. And we get double Dive Ball, so that is exactly what we can do. Oh god, so ill. Fantastic. Greninja, when it runs nicely, is so scary. Do I Field Blower the Float Stone? I think it's worth it. I can't imagine they play Fury Belt. Potentially they do. Is stitching still the best policy here? I think it is. He needs Ultra Road so badly in this game. This is just dirty. Potentially it makes our attachment worse, but eventually we'll get a Moonlight Slash and it will be glorious. We see an attachment to Solgaleo. Man, I really don't think they have time to GX attack this entire game now. They have a second Rescue Stretcher. Getting back Magina and Solgaleo. Yeah, definitely not as good as Super Rod in this deck, I don't think. Especially because it discards so many energy naturally through Sunsteel Strike. I would have thought they'd definitely play Super Rod still over Stretcher. Kind of greedy from them. Kind of greedy. Wow, they're actually going for the GX here. They've gone through 7, 8 energy. I wonder how many more are in the deck. Might not even be 5 in there. Yeah, they scoop. They had 9 cards in deck. Da 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 da! Okay, let's have another game. That couldn't have been easier. It was a deck that can't pressure Greninja and was ability focused and lots of other good things. So yeah. Let's have one more. Try and find a good old meta deck. It's always tricky on the ladder, but hopefully we can do it. Greninja so far being relatively unfazed. Obviously against Lapras it's going to be a 6-0 based on prizes, but in terms of deck we were never too concerned, even though we prized like 3 VS Seeker. Actually they did take 1 prize. No, they took 2 prizes. Yeah. Those nutty Lapras players. We get to go first here, which is a dream. And we start Froakie. No ball search cards, but at least we have supporters. You see Veltal sleeves. Maybe that's an indicator of what they're playing. We'll have to find out. We haven't mulliganed much so far, which is surprising because we only play 4 basics. Evolution decks. Umbreon can hit 30 with Strafe, 30 in Confuse with Espeon, and Sylveon does no damage, so we don't need to search out a second Froakie this turn. Do I still play N? Yes. Still play N here, because we haven't got a Frogadier like guaranteed. Now we have. Sometimes evolutions are teched into decks that still play elixirs, so I'm still going to grab a Froakie just to be safe. If I had more cojones, I may have just passed there, but I'd rather not lose in a turn. If I was a real man, we could have saved that dive ball for a Greninja in 2 turns' time. We'll see how much I miss that dive ball in 2 turns' time. If we just... Okay, a fan club. A fan club means probably a slow turn. It's not going to be like a nutty elixir attached, switch into the active KO. That's an indicator of like, let's just grab myself an Eevee. Okay, it's going to be Drampa and Shaman. So I'm glad I don't have a Splash Energy down, because Drampa would eat that up pretty quickly. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be an Umbreon list, because of the amount of float stones they're playing. Parallel City is really annoying, so we do want to try and find a Field Blower if we can. But we have exactly 1 top deck to try and find it. Otherwise we won't. Because I'm not going to Sycamore because we could risk... Can't believe they conceded against us. That means we have 1 more game. I do think naturally, even though the opponent plays Wobbuffet, I believe with our 2 Lysandres, we should have been able to clear up the Umbreons quite easily. Because their damage output seems pretty poor against us. Doing 90-30, even without Rough Seas, I think is way too slow to deal with us. We can finish off Umbreons in 1 turn with Double Break plus Moonlight Slash. So I think we're fine. And this could be a mirror match. Sumichi. There are quite a few Greninjas on the ladder. People are starting to pick up the deck and realise its newfound power in the format. And as I said in the start of the video, I have 0 techs for mirror, so we are likely to lose it unless Greninja things happen to our opponent for about 3 turns, and we can just donk a Froakie or something. But it's not likely. We're also going second, which is really bad for us. Let's see if they beat Talonflame as well. It's another reason why we're bad in the mirror, because Talonflame is an extra 130 HP Pokemon in the early turns, and also... Oh, okay. This is not what I thought it was. Lapras, huh? Well, Lord, huh? Okay. Okay. Yeah, they conceded. They can't beat Greninja. Steeldex can't beat Greninja. Sylveon has the best chance of doing it, but overall Steeldex really can't beat Ninja. Okay, let's move on. That was troll. There I was talking about the intricacies of a mirror match, and we see errand running Laprases. Okay. I almost played that in my quad Lapras list, by the way. Just saying. Pretty cool card. Searches for trainer. I didn't play it, of course. Right, so we're up against Chaos 769. So Water Psychic Dark, so I don't know what I should expect here. We've avoided Volk, but we've also avoided Decidueye, so I can't be too upset. Other matchups that are bad outside of Decidueye, probably things like Vespiquen are awkward. Also, the new Trevenant is probably scary. But beyond that, I really think Greninja's a fun time against a majority of things. Potentially Lurantis, I guess, if that starts coming back. I think its numbers get way better. It's just whether or not enough Volks in the format to scare it off. More ramblings from me. Oh, I want this guy's sleeves. Ah, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. We're mulling a load. And here we go. We have almost the dream. We are looking for energy off our next two draws, if possible. If not, I'm going to have to dig with mail to try and find a supporter. Let's see what we're up against. Water Psychic Dark. Beats me what this is. It beats me. Let's find out. Taking a load of mulligans. Murkrow. We're up against Honchkrow. Well, if we played Rough Seas, it would be so hilarious for us, but unfortunately we don't. Play Aqua Patch. What? What? Lele. Things are happening, guys. All things. Turn 1, Kakui is their choice of supporter. I am bamboozled as to what I'm up against here. They have Ultra Ball, so they can activate their Aqua Patch if they take a Water type here. Ninetales Honchkrow. Huh. Well then. Is Ninetales hard for us? Yes. Yes, it is. We can't attack Ninetales until we can one-hit KO it. But their main attack can't one-hit KO us unless they're playing 50 snipe. Okay. I figured it out. We figured it all out. Plus we drew energy, which is awesome for us. We figured it all out. We haven't prized any Frogadier. We have Splash Energies. We have almost all of our frogs. One Greninja is prized. I'm content to attach this turn to try and deny the retreat attack. The snipe would be annoying. And even the KO would be annoying. We have the Fisherman backup if he does get the KO, so let's try and avoid that with Bubble. We get the tails anyway. Of course he could evolve attach out anyway, but it forces a Honchkrow from him. Here is the glorious Rainbow Ninetales, very beautiful. And an N. No! My hand! It was beautiful. Okay. Let's see if we can get back into Frogadier. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, Greninja things! Oh, okay, he can't get the one-hit KO. Okay, okay. Whew. Whew, I was stressing. I was stressing. Oh, we topped out water anyway. Okay. VS Seeker goes here. And I think the break has to go. Yeah, the break has to go here. wonder if they're going to start putting snipes on every one of our frogs or just continue to KO this Froakie. It's going to be an interesting choice from them. If they start putting them on all sorts of Frogadier, it's scary because he can actually one-hit breaks. If not, well, actually, they're more likely to just Blizzard Edge the active, right? Because they have a DC on board. Yeah, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. VSEK N, one time. Don't Kukui. Kukui means he can KO the active with a snipe, which is sad. No! I wanted an N. Okay. Okay, okay. So, the Tale of 9 Tails. Ultra Ball is a terrible draw. See, these are the times when you're like, oh, Evo Soda, be Evo Soda right now. Goodness sake. But then again, Ultra Ball saves you. Saves you from pain at times. It's Bubble O'Clock, I think. Do I do it with this one? Yeah. But when in doubt, flip the coin. Yes, Froakie. You are the best card in this deck. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Look at your little dripping toe. What a legend. Look at him, so chill. This guy's a beast as well. Training spell for Lysandre isn't any good. Man, this is a max rarity Honchkrow Ninetales. Never thought I'd see the day. Oh, Choice Band's terrible. Get bubbled! What is going on? It's so triggered. Oh, God. It's a thing. It's a thing. Why would he do that, Lysandre? He would Lysandre something else, right? Now we just bubble again. My hand hasn't changed. I should bubble again. So sad. Heartbroken. Sad again. Yeah, this guy's all the emoji king, this guy. Yeah, we just do it. We just bubble it up. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. That is gross. Yeah, he just draw passes. He's triggered. VS Seeker is still unplayable. It's time to bubble. Okay, okay. The game can continue, everyone. Stop feeling bad for this guy. I'm the one dead drawing. Okay, here comes a nice blade. I imagine he'll KO the Froakie because this bubble has been annoying him too much, even though it's probably not the best target. And that's what happened. We made him waste a Lysandre as well. If he just held that Lysandre, he could... Oh boy. Okay, we're in this game. We are in the game. If I do this, I need one more energy. So we just find the break evolution now and ping. No, I can't one-hit KO at this turn, right? So my turn is still... I can deal... Okay, okay. My turn might well still be bubble here. Is my turn still bubble? I think it is. I have to wait till I can one-hit KO him. Otherwise the GX attack just wrecks me. My turn is still bubble here. Okay, another Greninja piece is great. So we can develop 3 ninjas. Breaks will come out next turn. Annoyingly, we've got through 2 choice bands, and they're really important for us to get the one-hit KO. Hopefully this bubble works, and hopefully they can't Lysandre if not. Okay. Bubble has been incredible this game. Absolutely incredible. Let's start getting some breaks going. He can't Kukui and Lysandre in the same turn, which is great news for us. Rescue Stretcher might be a card I want to play. It is a card I want to play. Do I want 3 targets? How many Greninjas am I going to need this game? We still have our other Stretcher, right? I'd rather go 1 target now. Can you, yeah. So I think I'm just going to go into this one. I think I just ping the Vulpix and Stitch. We're also going to Ace Trainer as well. Field Blower is unimpactful. This hopefully gets rid of VS Seekers for their Kukui to one-hit us. Develop a 3rd break. We'll hold the Choice Band in case they have Field Blower. They haven't played one yet. That's Stitching for 40. Trying to play around the GX attack as best as possible. We have Fisherman next turn for the blowout. So hopefully we get there. They have VS Seeker. I think they're just Kukuiing here. Yeah. Okay. There's Honchkrow. I really don't see why they play Honchkrow on top of Ninetales. I would just play pure Ninetales if it was me with my boy Artillery. I think it does way more for the deck. So we can evolve and we can Fisherman. For the Wombo. Oh, did I mess up? Yeah, I retreated into the wrong guy. Doesn't actually matter this turn because everything still has to pile on here. So maybe it wasn't a misplay. Maybe it was the right play. Disguised as me messing up. Senpai. The best misplays are the ones that you don't realise are misplays. Oh no, it wasn't a misplay. I misplayed now. No, I didn't. Hold on. Yeah, I did. I did misplay now. Because I should have promoted this one. Shuriken active, retreat, Shuriken bench and KO because it had 110. And then when I retreated here, I still could have Shurikened here and put my second Choice Band down and KO'd. So I've done this in the absolute worst sequence in both scenarios. But fortunately, frogs are so damn strong, I don't think this is going to matter. All they have to attack with is Honchkrow, which is currently doing 10 damage. So I'm not too scared of anything. Here's an Aqua Patch. Maybe it's a Ninetales out of nowhere. Maybe it's Patch DC Ninetales Kukui. Could happen. Uh-oh. Lily is not Kukui. Thumbs up for Lily though. Oh, we get end. Okay. Could have put the Choice Band down to play around end, but I'm still kind of playing around Field Blower. Kind of. Okay. Just retreat and snipe, I guess. Snipe here, I imagine. Oh, okay. This guy's fine as well. Ooh, that's a good draw. So Moonlight Slash for 80 on this guy. I think I should do it on here. Doing it on this guy means he can Blizzard Edge both for one hits, which is worrying. But the other way around, he can do 80, and then we're down to 40, which is in a snipe range, and it's worse for him to Ice Blade for KOs than it is for him to Blizzard Edge for KOs. Plus, we can develop another break, so... So they're almost always Ice Pathing here to heal up. Almost always. They haven't put down any tools or stadiums for our field blowers. It's been super dead this game. Attaching to Lele is terrible. Lele's an awful attacker in this matchup. Oh man. Those top decks are just classic Scumbag Joe. I guess we just go for the KO. Go for the big one. Fisherman gets us there actually. We can go 6, 120. We can get there. As long as I'm not stupid this time. 110. 170. Yeah. Nice. And this is the power of Greninja. The power they didn't previously have, but now it does. And now he's left with the Tapu Lele to attack with, which is not a scary Pokemon for us. Oh, I guess the Honchkrow can actually KO stuff now. Yeah, the Honchkrow can come in and KO. Completely forgot this was a card. I'm still not worried. As soon as he takes the KO, his damage goes down to 90. An N would be scary. Okay. N is scary. Still kind of worried here. Let's just scumbag another VS Seeker, shall we? Last one in deck. Out of 25, I am so scummy. It's just not even fair to play against me, is it? It's just not even fair. As long as you call it out, guys, it'll happen. Okay, that's the rule. Man, I feel like I've got super rewarded for super bad play each time I played that deck. But that just shows the strength of Greninja. Especially in that last game, I think I played pretty poorly in like 3 different turns. But anyway, we got there. Greninja is definitely strong. So be aware of it on your radar for the next few Guardians Rising tournaments. It will be around. Potentially the list you're seeing here will have to change because you will have to think about mirror matches. Ranger is the ultimate mirror match card. If you want a card that can help in the mirror match but is also not terrible in every other matchup, Ranger will be. You can play 1 or 2 max potions. Rough Seas will not help the mirror match because you're both getting benefit from it. Unless you can Field Blower on the turns you Rough Seas. You use Rough Seas on yourself, you Field Blower. But really it's only like a -60 or something on relevant targets. Like 2 Greninjas both get healed for 30. It's rare that that will be enough to swing the game, in my opinion. So the max potions I would go for. So potentially 2 slots. Potentially the males come out. Or you cut down to 2 Ultra. Maybe if you start by cutting 1 Ultra, going 1 max potion, see how bad you are in other mirrors. But overall, I think the mirror match is always going to be an absolute terrible game for you. Just a terrible experience. So Hopefully not many people pick up Greninja and play with it because of fear of decidueye plume, which is valid. That's the one reason why you don't want to play this deck, really. But it has lots of good matchups, so I think it's returned. I'm happy about it, and I'm actually happy to play Greninja now, which is something that I've not experienced yet because I've always hated the deck since its release, but it's on a power level now where I think, yeah, this is a good deck. I'll play it, even if it has these bad turn ones sometimes. So, let me know what you think about Greninja. I, for one, think it's definitely back. Let me know what you guys think. If you did like the video, please leave a like and comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already. And for now, it has been Joe from Omnipoke, and we'll be seeing you guys next time. Cheers.